This very sad case was a New Zealand case, ultimately decided in the House of Lords in England. Geoffrey Lee was a pilot who had formed a company called Lee's Air Farming. He provided crop dusting and topsoil dressing services by aircraft to farmers in New Zealand. The company was a corporation with 3,000 shares. He owned 2,999 of them, and the other was owned by a solicitor as Mr. Lee's nominee. This was a common way to get around the old rule that corporations needed more than one member. So basically, Mr. Lee owned the company. He was also employed by the company as the chief pilot. The company then took out workers' compensation insurance as required under New Zealand law in case any worker was harmed or killed while working for the company. Then the worst happened. Mr. Lee's aircraft crashed while he was carrying out his duties as chief pilot. Mr. Lee was killed. His wife, Catherine, then sought to claim compensation and the insurers refused to pay. They said that Mr. Lee was not a worker for the purpose of the legislation because he was the governing director of the company. The House of Lords did not agree. Their lordships said, "We find it impossible to resist the conclusion that the active aerial operations were performed because the deceased was in some contractual relationship with the company. That relationship came about because the deceased, as one legal person, was willing to work for and to make a contract with the company, which was another legal entity. A contractual relationship could only exist on the basis that there was a consensus between two contracting parties. It was never suggested, nor in their lordships' view could it reasonably have been suggested, that the company was a sham or a mere simulacrum. It is well established that the mere fact that someone is a director of a company is no impediment to his entering into a contract to serve the company." Now, a simulacrum is an image or a representation of something, what we might in these days call an avatar. In short, the court emphasised that a corporation is one legal person and any individual person is another. There is no reason that the corporation Lee's Air Farming could not employ the person, Christopher Lee. He was therefore a worker, and Catherine Lee was entitled to compensation under the policy.